Tashdile and welcome to Tibet This Week. This is Sakina Bhatt with another edition of Weekly News on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines. His Holiness the Dalai Lama conversed with members of Metropolitan Police. Prominent personalities around the world wishes His Holiness the Dalai Lama on his 85th birthday. The US makes direct funding of $1 million to Central Tibetan Administration. US imposes visa restrictions on Chinese officials under the Reciprocal Access to Tibet Act. Photo exhibition to remember President Vaclav-Havel and His Holiness the Dalai Lama's landmark meeting in Prague. Parliamentary group for Tibet calls for visit of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Taiwan. Tibetans urge UN to hold special session on violations in China during the UN Human Rights Council. His Holiness the Dalai Lama had a virtual conversation with the members of Metropolitan Police on Thursday this week. Dr. Kumanga Andrahinandi of the Center for the Advanced Learning of Mindfulness explained that for this special occasion they had organized 1,000 police officers, staff and special guests to listen to His Holiness the Dalai Lama talk about compassion.
All the destructive emotion entirely based on appearances, like compassion, these altruism, these not on the basis of appearance, but deeper level. So therefore, the all destructive emotion very much related with appearances. The positive emotion on the basis of reason, so deeper level.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama also sent a message on the first Dharma Chakra celebration at Varanasi on Saturday last week. Prominent figures and Tibet supporters from around the world expressed birthday greetings to His Holiness the Dalai Lama on His Holiness's 85th birthday celebration on Monday this week.
Laura and I send our very best wishes on your 85th birthday. I admire you, I care for you, and I love you.
Expressing their heartfelt greetings and deepest gratitude to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for his tireless service to humanity and world peace, they offered prayers for His Holiness to live for aeons and aeons for the benefit of all the sentient beings. During the official ceremony organized by the CTA, Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Singye expressed his deep gratitude to His Holiness for leading Tibet through one of its darkest periods and nurturing the Tibetan exile community into the most successful refugee community with a robust democratic system. Sikyong also announced that the whole year starting June 1st, 2020 to 30th June 2021 will be dedicated as Year of Gratitude to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Honorable Speaker of Tibetan Parliament in Exile said the essence of marking the birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is to remember him as the distant deity of Tibet and his deeds, and to heed and respectfully study and follow advice and guidance of His Holiness. In a special message to Tibetans, His Holiness had advised that reciting the mantra of Avalokiteshvara would be beneficial as Tibetans share a unique connection with Avalokiteshvara.
결혼식 두스 여덟 삼단이 아니 뭔 도라를 사나 디펜그리 저서 결혼식 매 계속 연구 열어라 아니 디 결혼 거야 돼 아니 나데 아니 아 제네스가 방중 처르디 아니 로자다 주 로자다 제 근데 초토야지 아니 장 상월로게 말음겨 아니 상월로 기부쳤다 아니 뜻들이 뜻이.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama greeted his Taiwanese followers during the live teaching on mind training as part of his 85th birthday celebrations organized in Taiwan on Sunday this week. The Office of Tibet, Washington, D.C. organized a virtual celebration of His Holiness's birthday with participation from guests such as Ambassador for International Religious Freedom Sam Brownback, Carl Gershman, the President of the National Endowment for Democracy, Canadian Members of Parliament Arif Virani, MP Garnet Genuis, and Khenpo Samdup of the Trikung S. Dharma Center. Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Singye, Representative Ngodup also joined the virtual celebration where the guests and organizers paid tribute to the life and legacies of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. U.S. imposes visa restrictions on People's Republic of China government and Chinese Communist Party officials under the Reciprocal Access to Tibet Act of 2018. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, in a statement issued Tuesday, said, Tibetan areas is increasingly vital to regional stability given the PRC's human rights abuses there, as well as Beijing's failure to prevent environmental degradation near the headquarters of Asia's major rivers. Secretary Pompeo said under the Reciprocal Access to Tibet Act, PRC government and CCP officials determined to be substantially involved in the formulation or execution of policies related to access for foreigners to Tibetan areas will be issued visa sanctions. President Singye welcomed this act and said that the visa restrictions on Chinese government officials is the right message by the U.S.
Chinese officials who think they can get away with, violating human rights of the Tibetan people, that they can act with impunity are wrong now. U.S. government is taking action, and all those Chinese officials, hopefully even their family members, will be put under restrictions if they want to visit U.S.
Tim Lofton, Member of Parliament and co-chair of All-Party Parliamentary Group for Tibet, presented 10-minute Rule Bill Tibet, Reciprocal Access Bill, on His Holiness the Dalai Lama's birthday at the UK House of Commons. The bill requires the Secretary of State to report annually on restrictions on access by UK nationals to Tibet in comparison with other regions of China to make provision to deny persons involved in imposing such restrictions permission to enter the UK for their connected purposes. Inspired by the landmark meeting of the Czechoslovak President Václav Havel and His Holiness the Dalai Lama in 1990 and the late President's support for His Holiness over the years, the Tibet Open House, a Tibetan Buddhist center based in Prague, has launched a photo exhibition titled If Only for a Single Day on Thursday this week. Speaking at a press conference held for the newly formed Parliamentary Group for Tibet in Taiwan Legislative on Wednesday, independent legislator and chair of the Taiwanese Parliamentary Group for Tibet, Freddie Lim, called on the Taiwanese government to allow His Holiness the Dalai Lama visit Taiwan without any pressure from China. The newly formed Parliamentary Group for Tibet consists of representatives of various political parties and participated by 46 MPs who had registered for the group. 5 Tibetans in Switzerland concluded a 4-day cycle rally of around 290 kilometers for Tibet in Geneva, coinciding the second week of the 44th session of the UN Human Rights Council on Tuesday this week. The team had begun the cycle rally for Tibet from Jug on 4th July 2020 to raise awareness about the situation in Tibet and to urge the UN and its member states to hold a special session on human rights situation in Tibet and other regions under China. The 4-day cycle rally for Tibet was concluded with an appeal letter addressed to Ms. Michelle Bachelet, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, and a peaceful demonstration in front of the UN Office of Human Rights Council. The United States Agency for International Development awarded a sum of $997,124 to SAD to strengthen the financial and cultural resilience of the Tibetan people and contribute towards a sustained resilience of the Tibetan people's economic and cultural identity. The awarding of direct funding to the CTA fulfills a long-desired aspiration and represents the culmination of many years of effort since my first term. I want to thank the US aid and hope this award paves the way for a more substantial funding relationship between the US aid and the CTA, said Sikyong Dr. Lupsang Singye.
So this is a very historic occasion and a development. So as far as we know, prior to this award from the USAID, there hasn't been earlier instances of CTA receiving foreign assistance grant directly from any agency affiliated with the US government. So this is the first time. So we're extremely excited, extremely honored as well. Through this direct grant, there is a direct relationship established between the CTA and the US government. So that financially, politically, it's very, very important. So as a result of the direct funding, we don't have to deal with the intermediary now. We can deal directly with the funder. So that I think will make working and the designing and implementation of the programs much easier. I think one of the most important reasons, which I think is also one of the motivations behind why USAID decided to support CTA directly, is through this assistance, it will strengthen the capacity of SAD and the CTA. CTA and SAD have made tremendous progress in these last 4 or 5 years, but we still have some ways to go. And I think what this $1 million will do is really speed up that capacitating process.
So much for today. See you next time and have a great weekend.